Hi, Dinosaur Bob here. It's been a little while since the last video, but I have been busy behind the scenes. I've been focusing a lot of effort on getting aspects of the world ready for my long-term gaming group to actually get started in the world of Carterion. They're getting a bit impatient now since it's been over 3 months since our last epic campaign ended. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the bits and pieces that I've finished up to get ready for a group of adventurers to set out in the world. And we'll talk about what's on the horizon for future development. So let's get started. We'll start with a quick and easy bit. I told my group that they would have full access to the entire range of ancestries, heritages, backgrounds, and classes for them to build new first-level characters to get started at the Bugbear's Head Inn. That means I need to have enough world infrastructure in place for them to develop backstories that would explain their arrival at the inn. We've already created a bunch of cities and towns in the region, but we needed more than just a town name to be useful for backstories. We also need to make sure all of the ancestries had places to potentially call home. So the maps needed a few tweaks. So here's what we've added. First of all, we've given names to all of the rivers and streams. Each one is named for a fey creature, either a dryad or a nereid, that lived in or still lives in the area. Next, we've added the village of Spudbarrow, a predominantly halfling settlement about a week's journey along the road to the southwest from the inn. The village was added to give halfling locals a possible place to call home. We've also added a few other places of interest as well. South of the inn, you'll see Fey Haven, an elven settlement that has been around in one form or another for thousands of years. This isn't a town or a city in the usual sense. I envision homes and gathering places built into the living trees of the forests, as well as on the forest floor. But it marks an area that the elves consider their territory, an area that the elves will defend. We've also added Lizard's Fen as well, a marshland north of the inn. Lizard folk will be found there, and we can count on lizard folk to be involved somehow in one or more of the first adventures. Oh, by the way, after we've gotten all of the basic rule tweaks and additions out of the way, I expect lizard folk will be one of the first new ancestries made available for player races, but for now they're NPCs or monsters. And finally, we've added a compass rose and a map scale because we do plan on giving this map to the players at the onset of the campaign. These aren't major changes, but they provide options for the players and options for adventure. One last thing. Using one of the features of Campaign Cartographer's mapping system, I've produced a sepia-toned player version of this map. This is the actual map that the players will receive on day 1 of the campaign. I've also spent a fair bit of time putting together at least brief descriptions of all of the other important locations on the Frontierlands regional map. I haven't decided whether to make this entire document available to the players or select bits and pieces depending on their backstories. Either way, though, I've put together the bits of knowledge that a character would pick up if they at least passed through the area. There's a paragraph or two on each of the settlements, ranging from the city of Endmere to the villages like Spudbarrow. And there's information on the inn, including descriptive information on the buildings and even the rooms within the inn. You can probably tell from the layouts that you see that I've started formatting this for eventual publication. This will be part of the World of Carterion product that I plan to make generally available. One of these days we'll be talking about that a bit more in one of these videos too. The other area that got a lot of attention, a whole lot of attention, was rounding out the Pantheon of deities for the world. This was necessary because there will be clerics or champions in the gaming parties, and those both require deities with statistics in order to create and roleplay. And so we now have a pantheon of 33 deities for clerics and champions to choose from. For each of these, a brief explanation has been prepared, the sort of information that any character interested in having a religion component to their background would need. For champions, the actions considered anathema to the deity are identified, so the characters know what behaviors must be avoided. Preferred weapons are also identified, as these are the weapons that the champions will be preferentially using. And for clerics, in addition to the anathema behaviors, other additional information is provided. Information on holy symbol, divine font, additional skill, specially granted spells, and available domains that will offer focus spells. As I said, though, we've added a number of deities to choose from, far beyond the original 2 deities for each race that were covered in the creation myths. We've got 7 deities of the Alavar race, primarily for the elves. We've got 7 deities of the Dwagnar race, primarily for the dwarves and gnomes. We've got 4 deities of the Goblinar race, primarily for the goblins. And we've got 8 deities of the Humanar race, primarily for humans and halflings. In addition, we've got 2 deities from a newly introduced race of Astralar, the Primalar, who are particularly adept at shaping elemental energies. We've got 3 deities from another new race, the Mysticar, who are adept at manipulating magic. And finally, we've got 2 demons and 2 devils that have elevated themselves to deity status. The Primalar, Mysticar, demons, and devils do not focus their efforts on any one ancestry. They attempt to draw their followers from every one of the player races, and possibly from a number of NPC races besides. I'm not going to bore everybody with a statistical rundown of all of these, but as I mentioned, I have created stat blocks for each, and I've also created some narrative info for each, of the sort that any character familiar with their religions would want to know. More handouts for my first players, and more material for upcoming publication. And that's it for today. If you aren't already a subscriber to this channel, please help me out and hit that subscribe button before you go. Please also don't forget to give me a thumbs up on the video if you think it was worthwhile. And why not take a moment to leave a comment? Tell me what you think. Tell me why I'm right or wrong. In the next 5 videos, we're going to take a closer look at character generation. And in particular, we're going to look at the adjustments to heritages and the many new heritage choices that will be available to players as they create their characters for the world of Carterion. In the background, I'll also be developing the first adventures, but there won't be videos about these until after I've played tested them once or twice. I may not have many subscribers on this channel yet, but my players are among them, so I don't want these videos to be sources of spoilers. And so, until next time, may the dice be with you.